Today, Aaron lives in a home of his own, just a few kilometres away from his parents in Redland Bay. Aaron living here, in the community of his choosing, is a testament to the resilience, determination and vision of Aaron, his parents and their supporters, both paid and unpaid.
Aaron was born in the Women's Public Hospital in 1977.
We've got Linda, our eldest daughter, who is in England at the moment. We just grew up a normal family. It was only in later years that there was things that happened that we knew there was something different with Aaron.
And we didn't really know what it was all about until at the age of 25 we were told he had Asperger's syndrome. We didn't know anything about the autistic spectrum, hadn't even heard the word before.
Aaron is always very keen to do anything, and when he does do something, he's always very committed.
Yes, well, he's got the ute, and of course he doesn't drive, so he has a mentor, and it's a particular chap now, and has been for quite a while doing it. So he's the workman. When he was 25, said he'd like to have his own place, and then started the process of finding the right sort of accommodation for him.
What can you tell me about Aaron's first home?
It was a townhouse, little 3-townhouse complex, in a lovely little leafy cul-de-sac, right in Capalaba, very handy for us. And because he was handy, he maintained his pamphlet run because we were so close. Ride his bike up and off he'd go. And he was very happy there. He cooked all his own meals, very simple and all planned on shopping day. He medicated himself, which was simple at the time, but AM, PM. We'd go to the laundromat, we'd do his washing once a week. He'd hang it out and he would bring it in himself when it was dry and put it away, however, not like I'd do it, but you know what I mean? It was all done. He was fiercely independent and he loved it. He loved being independent.
Aaron's first lease ended on good terms. However, the owner needed the property back for personal use. And this was when the family first sought assistance from a service provider.
So he was taken to Southport, to a share house there, and they took him on. But what they wanted to do was he had to move out of the house. He couldn't be there. He had to be in the complex that they had several units in. He was in that situation of being there. And anyway, in the end, they said that they couldn't manage him. He was too hard for them to manage, and they put him in a taxi and sent him to Beenleigh Disability Services on his own. Just called a taxi. He got in and away they went.
From this point onwards, Aaron experienced significant disruption, living in 13 different houses over the next 7 years.
We heard that he didn't welcome support in, that he broke a lot of things, that he had the police called and had altercations with people that weren't great during that period of time.
In 2007, another service arrangement fell through. By now, Aaron's well-being was severely compromised.
And through that time, you didn't have those choices around who was supporting him either.
No. And then when he went to Waco, that was it. That was a nail in the coffin, virtually. And for all that time, he lost all his skills that he had and his interaction with people and that. And he virtually became like a recluse.
He could be locked up for, at one point, up to 36 hours, which means that he had no human contact for that amount of time. I would say, has caused a whole lot of trauma and anxiety for him that he's still living with today.
Supported by a non-government agency, Aaron was moved to a secure unit on the grounds of an institution in Waco. The family believed this would only be for a 6-month period. He lived there for 6 years. Through this process, Aaron became one of the most highly funded people with disability in Queensland.
I really think people undervalued or misunderstood the amount of adaptations his parents had made for him to make life a success for him. And when that wasn't present in his life on a day-to-day basis, then things just fell apart for him. And our society isn't built around people who don't do well in it. So we like to shut people away.
In 2009, when resources were scarce, a large percentage of the state disability budget was being directed to people who were in emergency and crisis. Keen to do better, knowing that increasing funding was not improving people's lives and money was not the answer, the state sought the assistance of Dr. Michael Kendrick.
The question of what is the good life is a question that will never go out of fashion, because the good life is the life that is satisfying and makes people happy. Now, people with disabilities may not get much attention on this question because a lot of people get very preoccupied with the care and support of people, but not the essentially quality of their life. So they say, well, these questions are for other people. That people with disabilities really just had better put aside the question of what is the good life, because the big issues are who's going to kind of mind them, who's going to support them, and that kind of a question.
Michael Kendrick delivered courses to 60 people. In small teams, the attendees developed proposals of what an optimal life could be like for 20 people with disability. This was how the Parsons family first met worker Leanne Burke.
After the course finished, we provided the family with a proposal of a way forward for Aaron. Crew provided support to continue the work with the family, to look at how they might put some of that proposal, or what parts of that proposal that they might put into action.
Anne and Chris embraced the proposal. They met other families, attended workshops, expanded their networks, and renewed their vision of life for Aaron. They chose to self-direct his funding.
You have to have somewhere to go, like Crew, to know what's possible. I mean, that's it really. You have to have somebody you can go to get the ball rolling.
There was a line that I'm going to read to you, Anne, and it's one of the reports that you both submitted, and this one went to the regional director in April 2010, just as they were trying to, bring this move about. You said, "My son is only 32 years of age and has spent the last 7 years of his life trying to survive in a complicated and insecure world. He is not a criminal, but a wonderful, resilient young man who happens to have Asperger's and epilepsy. He now deserves to know the feeling of a permanent home." Do you remember putting that statement together?
Oh, yes, yes.
It took another 4 years of strategic and thoughtful work on many fronts before Aaron was able to leave Wacol. Lawyers, therapists, service providers, advocates and bureaucrats worked with Aaron, his family, friends and crew to redirect funding, secure the right house, select and train a team of skilled paid supporters, rebuild Aaron's skills and rights, and try to prevent further damage.
And then they wanted him to go to the forensic unit, which had been built in the meantime on the same property,
Brand new.
within walking distance. And I just said, my son will not be going here.
We employed a worker to start thinking about re-engagement back to his home of origin. So this worker would go and visit Aaron. They would walk down to the local shops. That would be the start. Then we got on to him getting to be able to go out in the car, how to do that safely. It was just working out, is today a good day, Aaron?
When Aaron finally moved out of institutional care into this magnificent home of his own, I guess I was approached, would I come and work with Aaron? We wouldn't call it counselling, it was just being with him in a particular way, in a listening way. So that went on for a number of years until I thought, oh, look, it's a pleasure. I just like to move out of the paid work because having a freely given relationship is a completely different scenario from being a paid person to come and be in his life. And I thought, no, I just want to be in his life as a friend. So we're up to our maybe 10th or 11th year now.
Yeah, it's a nice house. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Do you feel safe here, Alan?
Yeah.
In 2013, Aaron moved into his home in the Redlands and has been there now for the past 11 years.